Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Bob Davis, a member of the Sunday Services Committee. Reverend Rachel is isolating at home today because of COVID, but she's doing well. No worries, she left us detailed plans about the service today, and many folks have stepped up to kind of assist me in this process. For our new visitors here, People's Church is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And this church celebrates diversity, recognizing the strength in uniting in love many different perspectives and talents. Know that you are welcome here no matter who you are, who your ancestors are, where you are on your religious, spiritual, ethical journey, who you love, or what pronouns you use. We only ask that you join us with an open mind and open heart as we explore life's mysteries, using many sources of wisdom, including science, philosophy, the arts, and the works of major world religions, as well as our own perspectives. Today, we are structuring our service a little bit different. We are joining other congregations, other UU congregations across the country in a climate justice revival service. What we protect, we love. And so during this service, we'll be remembering our commitments to the principles of equity, diversity, justice, and the interdependence of web of life, and recommit our care to protecting these principles. So let's begin by taking a moment to breathe in air. And just notice it. And give thanks for the air always present supporting our life. We have several announcements. This is an all-ages service. The nursery is open in the back, but everybody else is expected to remain in this room. Fortunately, we have lots of little materials for coloring and keeping busy creative minds and hands going. If you brought somebody with you, please keep track of them during the service. During some of the songs today, we're going to have beach balls bouncing around. Not everybody appreciates those. So we're going to keep the beach balls on this side by the banners, and On this side, by the art wall, which is delicate materials, we're going to have a no beach ball zone. So reshuffle yourself if you're in the wrong half of the room. Okay, next Friday night there is a game night with pizza right here in this room at 6 p.m. All are welcome. We have a holiday bazaar announcement. Preparations are underway for this year's Fine Art Sale and Holiday Bazaar, our largest annual church fundraiser that will take place on Saturday before Thanksgiving. So the last Saturday before Thanksgiving. The success of the bazaar depends on the generosity of many volunteers, and so of course we need your help. And there's a sign-up sheets out in the lobby. For example, on October 27, there's a group that are going to get together and make the beautiful jars of colored dried bean soup mix. No experience is necessary. We'll provide all the materials and all the help for you to work, and it's a wonderful way to get to know people and help the bazaar. We also have sign-ups for pasty making sessions in late October and early November. And I've done this every year, and I really enjoy it. So I'm sure you will too. It's a nice way to chat with other people in the congregation. And Donna McClurkin has an announcement.
Good morning. A brief announcement about because the subject matter today fits perfectly, is we have a climate cafe coming up on Sunday, November 3rd after the service. And the other reason I wanted to announce this today is because my co-facilitator, Kennedy Williams, who you'll be meeting during the service today, is with us. So either one of us can, or both of us can answer any questions you might have. But just as a high-level overview, a climate cafe, I'm out of breath. A climate cafe is a welcoming space where fears and uncertainties about our climate and ecological crises can be safely expressed. Said minimally, it's a space to be and not do. We can engage with each other with difficult truths while staying connected and grounded. Kennedy and I have both been trained through the Climate Psychology Alliance, and we look forward to having you next Sunday, or not next Sunday, but Sunday, November 3rd. Sign up will be sent out with the Friday emails, and registration is required through the Sign Up Genius, which Melissa will send out with the Friday emails starting, well, for every Friday in October. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. And now, Savannah's going to leave us in the introit.
Yes, good morning. Please rise and body your spirit while I open my book to sing our first song together. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come come in. And one more time. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
So why are we calling this service a revival service? So the backstory, throughout religious history, revivals have marked periods of resurgence in people's commitments to their faith traditions. Classic American tent revivals took people out of the four walls of their church and into the world. They brought the community together and served as a galvanizing force for the future, often during times of great change or anxiety. Now, we're not going to take you outside today, although the weather's beautiful. But in the midst of overlapping climate crises and mounting social injustice, we are in a time of great change and profound anxiety. So taking a note from those who have gone before us, the UUA Climate Justice Revival is meant to be a time to come together and recommit. And now we're going to do our chalice lighting. Will Grace come forward to... Each week at People's Church, we light a chalice during our service and take time to reflect upon its meaning. If you are lighting a chalice at home, I invite you to do it now and enter into the Zoom chat box where you are lighting your chalice. We light the chalice today with words by Reverend Megan Foley, Deputy Director of Congregational Life at our Unitarian Universalist Association. When Unitarian Universalists light our chalice, we are doing more than moving a bit of flame from a little stick to our favorite candle. When Unitarian Universalists light our chalices, we are showing what happens when we harness the power of fire. Fire is one of the world's most sacred elements, perhaps because it always causes change. Fire warms and feeds, fire destroys and eliminates. With a bit of attention and care, fire works and warms and feeds us. Fire also reveals to us and shows us things, literally, to illuminate. Fire helps us to see and survive. And so fire is especially a sacred symbol today at our Climate Justice Revival because we are in need of change, we are in need of warmth and sustenance, and we need a clear, bright new path for ourselves and our world. May this cup of captured fire be a symbol today of our passion, our care, and our brilliance in the face of need. Like fire, we are powerful. Like fire, we create change, and may it be so. Sam, where else do we have chalices lit?
Today we have chalices lit in Columbus, Ohio, Cherry Street. And give me 1 second. Got Kalamazoo Township, West Main Hill, Parkview Hills, and Munson Lake near Grand Junction. And that's it for our chalices.
Wow, it's good to be together in time, even when we cannot be together in the same place. And so now we have a time for all ages that's going to be a video. So the children can stay in their chairs and continue their artwork there. This video story is presented by the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, President of the UUA.
As we continue the celebration of our revival together. I am so excited to bring you a story by one of my favorite children's authors, Kobe Yamada. The images are by May Bisam. This story is called, What Do You Do with a Problem? I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was here. It was here. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem? I thought. I wanted it to go away. I shooed it, I scowled at it, I tried ignoring it, but nothing worked. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallowed me up? What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? What if it gets me? What if it takes away all of my things? I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this, and I worried about that. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. I wished it would just disappear. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself, but it still found me. And the more I avoided my problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time. I didn't feel good at all. I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. I realized that I had to face it. So even though I didn't want to, I really didn't want to, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was, and I discovered that it had something beautiful inside. My problem held an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to learn and grow, to be brave, to do something. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. So now I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. And that, my loves, is the end of our story.
Once again, in body or spirit, we're going to sing Blue Boat Home. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry seas, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companion. of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me. Hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing to the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
All right. People's people are generous people, and we know that climate justice isn't abstract. It starts close to home and impacts people, including all of us and our neighbors. It's not a contest between our commitments to the planet and our commitments to a more just society. In fact, those commitments are one and the same. Each month, the board selects a worthy organization or committee to receive our Sunday collection. This month, we've chosen to share our offering plate with the Institute for Public Scholarship, a local organization. And we're lucky to have some folks from this organization to tell us about their good and important work. And Sibel Shattuck, our own member and associate professor at Western Michigan University, who studies the intersection of religion and the environment, is going to introduce.
Whenever I don't use the platform, David Isaacson scolds me and says, "But we'd like to actually see your face." So yesterday we had our climate justice revival, and one of the things we were really thinking about is the intersection of climate change and justice issues. We tend to think climate change is an environmental issue, but it's interwoven with all of the other problems in our society. The inequalities of our economic systems, the problems of pollution, access to health care, all of these historic inequities that have built up. Tom Goldtooth, who's the director of the Indigenous Environmental Network, has commented, "It is inevitable that we will make a transition away from fossil fuels to a clean energy economy. We aren't going to have a choice about that because of what's happening to the planet. But whether or not we do that in a way that centers justice, that is a choice that we have to make." And one of the key ideas of environmental justice is that the people most affected must be given a voice in the process. We have to listen to them in order to understand the best ways to move forward. Dr. Michelle Johnson has spent her entire career lifting up people's voices, speaking to the people and helping them bring their stories and their perspectives into the public space so that others can learn and respond and have truly inclusive processes. And she started with history projects, and then she's grown from there to do all kinds of other things, because as she listens to people, she thinks, I've got to figure out how to help these people solve these problems in the ways they want to solve these problems. And so I think it's really out of that motivation she created this Institute of Public Scholarship. And so she's going to talk to us a little about the work that she's doing. And I also want to mention Kennedy Williams, who's helping with her air quality project, is one of my former students. And now I can tell my students when they say, oh, people are saying, what are you going to do with a degree in the humanities? It's like, let me tell you about Kennedy Williams, who has a degree in Spanish, and she is making our community a better place. So, Dr. Michelle Johnson and Kennedy Williams.
Well, thank you for the humanities plug. Social studies was always my favorite subject, and I wish someone had told me that there was something I could do with that work. I'm really honored to be here. We're both honored to be here on behalf of the Institute of Public Scholarship and our amazing team of folks who have at the center a passion and dedication to wellness. That's wellness of our genealogy, wellness of our land, wellness of the stories that we pass around to each other, and especially the wellness of social justice. And so the Institute of Public Scholarship that I co-founded with a team of folks, other scholars, other folks that have been doing their academic work on the ground is fundamentally dedicated to that wellness. And at the center of that, quite frequently in our programs, is a relationship with the natural world. My dissertation was on Black environmental history from pre-colonial West Africa to right about 1920. And so I've been very deeply committed not just to understanding the theories of a relationship with the natural world, but really practical components of how to facilitate that. So at the Institute of Public Scholarship, many of our projects are connected to the environment, from our housing project, our Ampersea Advisory Project and Home Start Project, where we're building 10 homes for folks who have been experiencing housing insecurity and homelessness, to the work that we do to get folks out in nature, particularly Black and brown people out in nature, because we understand the importance of the connection between a relationship with the natural world and lower hypertension, lower depression, lower anxiety. And we know that there have been extensive barriers to Black and brown people to be able to reap the benefits, those very basic needs that we all have. And so we are very excited to be here with a group of people who feel similarly to us, that the opportunities that rest in these solutions are very much connected to deepening our relationship with the natural world, deepening access to the natural world, deepening our sense of research and understanding of what those solutions might be. And so I thank you very much for having us here. Please, we've got a new spot now, 313 North Burdick for the Institute of Public Scholarship, also known as Legacy. And there you can engage with us in a variety of projects that we have to really root ourselves in the solutions. And we know that those solutions are centuries old. They're not new solutions. They're about respect and guidance and stewardship of the natural world and those beings like us that live on it. So again, thank you so very much. I'm going to turn it over to my wonderful colleague, Kennedy Williams.
Hi, I'm Kennedy Williams. I am team lead of our air quality program at the Institute of Public Scholarship. The air quality program that we run serves two purposes in our community. The first is to make sure that information about air quality in Kalamazoo is easily accessible to our community members. And we do that by our network of air monitors that we've asked community members to host at their houses or businesses. And then on top of that data that we receive from the monitors, we're also doing research. So literature reviews, looking into what things, or why poor air quality affects human and environmental health. The other goal that our program, or the second goal for our program, is to tie in poor air quality in Kalamazoo to environmental justice. And this last year is the first year that we've made a lot of ground in the program, and we are finding that Black and brown folks in Kalamazoo are being disproportionately impacted by poor air quality in Kalamazoo. So with these two goals in mind, the ultimate goal by the end of the program is to make some policy recommendations at the local level, hopefully the state level, and then in my mind, big dream, federal level, to really make sure that our environmental regulations and standards include everybody, to make sure that everybody is able to live in a safe and healthy community. I am also co-lead of the Black and Brown Environmental Impact Assessment with Dr. Johnson here. And with that program, we're partnered with the Matchbanashi Band of Potawatomi, and we are doing a policy review of some Eagle documents. And the goal with that program is to interpret where those environmental regulations are lacking in protection for Black and brown folks. So then we can reinterpret that document and make policy recommendations, again, at the state level. I feel very honored to be a part of this institute and to be able to use my degree, like Sibel said, and just make a really, an impact on our community, and to make sure that nobody's left behind in our pursuit of a healthier and safer environment for all. And thank you for having us today. It means a lot.
The offering will now be taken. Please be generous.
In this heart lies for you a lark born only for you, who sings only to you, my love, my love, my love. I am waiting for you, for only to adore you. My heart is for you, my love, my love, my love. This is my grief for you, for only the loss of you, the hurting of you, my love, my love, my love. I will have you with me in my arms only, for you are only my love, my love, my love.
Please join me in giving thanks. From the countless gifts we each have been given, gifts of life and love and sustenance, please bring these small portions to share in the works of love which none of us can accomplish alone. Each week, we take time together to give witness to the important changes in our lives and place a stone in the water. The ripples reflect how our lives interconnect with those in this community and in the wider world. You may also just place a stone in the water. Will the youth who are going to help with this next part of the service come forward? This next part, we have several leaders who are going to read prayers, and then the congregation is going to respond when I give the signal. Let us reimagine a new era together. And maybe the youth can come up here on the stage. Perfect, go for it, Diana.
Fear stifles the imagination and limits our capacity for relationships that embrace our beautiful and abundant humanity. Fear creates cynical cycles of supremacy and extractive relationships with each other and the planet. Reimagining together is how we overcome fear. Reimagining together is how we build new relationships for a new era, putting love at the center. Today, especially, we put love at the center of our work for climate justice. Please join us in the prayers of people and the planet. Our congregational response in between each of the verses that these amazing young people will read is going to be, let us reimagine a new era together.
Let's practice that. Let us imagine a new era together.
Beginning right here in our congregation, we pray for ourselves, that we open our hearts to be companions, caring for a hurting world, and committing to create a world of flourishing.
Let us reimagine a new world together.
With reverence for the great web of life, and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We commit to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. So we pray for land, ecosystems, all species, the entire natural world.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
We pray for justice for local frontline communities who are impacted first, worst and longest by climate change, and who face systemic oppression. Let us
reimagine a new era together.
In our reimagining, we gain the capacity to recommit to communities of mutual support, which are building blocks of an ecosystem of mutual survival.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
We look towards each other, people of faith, good conscience, and spirit, leaning on one another and trusting in the hope we can create together.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
We make right the wrongs of the past, not by ignoring them, but by doing the difficult work of dismantling the oppressive systems and behaviors that feed our illusions of separation. May we live in a way that honors our interdependence and acts in accordance with our interconnection with all people on the planet.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
As we begin in local, committed communities of support, we find the strength and courage to widen our circles of concern, resisting the hierarchies of value and ideologies of scarcity.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
In our widening and deepening connections, we discover our relations in the salt-kissed islands in the South Pacific, the solid and frozen grounds of the Arctic, and the life-giving valleys near and far.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
With humility, commitment, we acknowledge our own part in so much harm to our relations. Salt water enrichment, dying permafrost, and the poison refuse of illegal mining.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
May we set down fear. May our courage to face these intersecting systems of harm lead to the strength to create intersecting practices of love and healing so that all may flourish.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
Reimagining together, we build new relationships. We put love at the center of climate justice work, and we commit. Amen.
And now Savannah will lead us in song.
Planning on it. All right. This is a new one, so please rise and bow to your spirit. The lyrics will be for you. Just do your best. We're going to get this together. didn't have the lyrics up. Here we go. All right. We will rise together, you and I, rise together hand in hand. Come on, we will rise together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come on, friends, I see a brighter day where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find the way to justice shining like the sun. Rising. We will sing together, you and I, sing together hand in hand. Come on, we will sing together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. Come, my friends, I see a brighter day where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find the way to justice rising like the sun. We will dance together, you and I, dance together hand in hand. Come on, we will dance together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. So come, my friends, I see a brighter day where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find the way to justice rising like the sun. We will shout together, you and I, shout together hand in hand. Come on, we will shout together, heads held high. We will reach the promised land. So come, my friends, I see a brighter day where freedom rings for everyone. Come along and we will find the way to justice rising like the sun. To justice rising like the sun. Thank you.
And now Sybil Shattuck and Kennedy Williams have a few words for reflection.
So one of the things that we were asked to do for Climate Justice Revival Weekend in Service was to find someone who would create a vision of a positive future. So imagine it's September 2050, and we are all gathered here at People's Church today. Hi, Kennedy. I almost didn't see you sitting there behind because the wildflowers in the People's Church Memorial Garden are so tall this year. And also, I was just distracted because I was looking at all the bees. There's so many, both native bees and honeybees. I bet the church hives will have a bounty of honey this year. With a continuous corridor of native plants all along 10th Street and the old Highway 131 route, they have a choice of pollen from early spring until late fall. We've seen honey production at the church hit record levels in recent years.
I've been watching the monarch butterflies. There's so many, it's hard to believe that they were once at risk of extinction. They must be using the church grounds as a gathering spot while waiting for the wind direction to shift so they can head south for the winter. It's so nice and quiet here on the church grounds. You can really hear all the different insect voices.
Yeah, that is one of the nicest changes since the highway was replaced with an electric maglev train. I do not miss the traffic noise. All we hear from behind the church now is a gentle whoosh of wind when the train passes by. But what brings you to People's Church today?
I came to pick up some boxes of materials that the church is contributing for the Kalamazoo Harvest Festival next week, but I got here early, so I took a detour through the garden.
Oh, great. Can I help you with the boxes?
Thanks. I brought an electric car from the Kazoo Car Co-op to transport them.
Oh, good. That makes things easy, because I came to church on the Main Street electric tram and walked up from 10th Street. So if you take me downtown, then I could catch the Oakland electric tram over to my neighborhood. There must be something happening downtown tonight, because I saw a bunch of families on the tram heading downtown when I got off at 10th Street.
They're probably heading for the powwow grounds downtown. It's hard to believe that beautiful outdoor space with the perimeter circle of trees to keep the dance area cool. It used to be a parking lot.
Yeah, I've been so impressed with the way the community repurposed that event center space. That was such a boondoggle. But the community sure figured out creative ways to reuse it as a mix of affordable housing and indoor community festival space. It's really nice in the summer to have a cooler indoor space for festivals because the summers are so hot now, and the somewhat unpredictable thunderstorms pop up all the time. I was down there for the late summer powwow, and in between the dances, I was watching all the kids running around. Seems like the little ones just run for the pure joy of movement. It got me to wondering, at what age does running become exercise? Something to do because it's good for you instead of something you do just for fun.
Well, maybe we'd keep doing it for fun if no one told us it was good for us. But I know what you mean. The kids have so much energy. I swear they run faster and farther these days than when I was young. Maybe it's because none of them have asthma now, and that there are new medical treatments and no fossil fuel appliances, vehicles, or industrial facilities polluting the air inside or outside their homes.
Of course, they'll wear out eventually because of the heat. September is such a hot month. It does make for delicious tomatoes, though, even if gardeners do have to be vigilant about pest control with these long summers. But of course, anyone growing food around here knows to plant a wide variety of fruits and veggies because it's so hard to predict the weather conditions these days. I mean, with the way the climate has changed in the last 3 decades, we're so lucky to have the KVCC Food Innovation Center as a hub for the latest knowledge and food growing resources. They've done an amazing job of building a resilient local food system, both commercial and residential, and it's all adapted to our local conditions. One of my favorite parts of Harvest Fest is sampling some of the new foods growers are trying out. It's a fun way to learn about new crops or new varieties of old crops. I had no idea there were so many varieties of beans. And I'm super glad that apples still do well in Michigan, because I grew up in apple country in California, and so it's great that we still have late summer apple picking and fresh cider, but we've had to change the varieties, and actually that turned out to be okay. So last year, I discovered there was a farmer who had this new variety called a Gravenspy. They'd taken the Gravenstein from where I grew up in California, and they crossed it with a Northern Spy to make the most perfect apple for making pies ever, because now it keeps like a spy, but it's got all the flavor of the Gravenstein. I mean, this is really my new favorite apple. Sorry, I got a little carried away.
I'm laughing with you, not at you. I have favorite new foods too. I love the pecan syrup that replaced maple syrup, but I do miss having maple trees all over town turning brilliant colors in the fall. Seems like fall is mostly gold and orange now that the frosty nights don't set in consistently until November. But last year I took the electric train north to Canada for a color tour, and that was a lot of fun. And the food was terrific. It seemed like every town where we stopped had its own local specialties to try. Also, I read a really nice study recently that looked at mental health among people in the agriculture industry. The researchers found that farmers were pretty content. Once the industrial food system got replaced with food systems that promote healthy soil and humans, they started growing specialty crops and rediscovered that farming could be a rewarding career.
I saw that article. It really brought home how much things have changed since the terrible 20s. It was hard to be hopeful about the future during that period. It seemed like we'd never break the power of the global corporations that were destroying the planet and fostering conflict. But community groups were building coalitions and developing local projects that showed we could live sustainably if the government would just shift resources away from the big corporations and put them into our communities.
Yeah, I think the Black Lives Matter movement was an important catalyst. I think it motivated social and financial support for community groups, especially those led by people of color. and we saw more diverse and representative municipal agencies that started looking for new ways to do things. They challenged old paradigms and assumptions about best practices and how to solve problems like housing shortages and inequality. There were new ideas about how to allocate resources, and there was federal action with the Biden administration's Justice 40 initiative dedicating 40% of the climate action funds for use in environmental justice communities. Then President Whitmer's administration created the Just Energy Transition Public Innovation Grants to support community-based resilience projects.
Yes, the Just Energy Transition Public Innovation Grants. The jet pigs. They were transformative. Those grants really gave smaller communities the resources to think creatively about climate action. And that helped break the fossil fuel monopolies, which meant the world became a very different place by the 2030s. Once local decentralized energy and local sustainable food systems replaced the old geopolitical system based on control and transport of fossil fuels and grains, governments could not sell war to their citizens anymore. People who have what they need just won't put up with conflicts that only benefit a few business people. By the time I retired from WMU, there were no major military conflicts anywhere for the first time in my life. Hey, did you see where the New York Times did a recent story about housing in Kalamazoo? It talked about how we're a model for affordable, energy-efficient housing. And they were especially impressed with the way the land bank coordinated with the Kazoo Power and Light, our community-owned nonprofit utility, to create geothermal heat systems linking whole blocks of homes. Oh, look! A bunch of the monarch butterflies just started flying upwards. Did the wind change direction?
It must have. And by the way, did you know that that's part of what's in these boxes? One box has crayons and colored pencils, and the other is a bunch of posters with the new city flag logo. It's an art project for kids in celebration of the new mural downtown. The mural has a whole flock of monarchs and other butterflies on it.
Oh, I'll have to go look at it. I love the new city flag with the turtle, the brown-eyed Susan, and the butterfly images. The turtle to symbolize the river that drew people to live in the area and to honor the indigenous communities who named this continent Turtle Island. And the monarch, that remarkable migrator who journeys thousands of miles, ignoring artificial natural boundaries, symbolizing newer residents and also the interdependence of people and ecosystems across space and time.
And the brown-eyed Susan, a prairie plant with deep roots that can pull carbon dioxide from the air and store it deep in the soil. It feeds insects and birds, and it's resilient in the face of summer wildfires and winter blizzards. The bright yellow petals always make me smile. It's a tenacious survivor with the power to help heal the planetary climate system and nurture the local ecosystem. It's such a great symbol of what our community and the global community have finally become.
May it be so.
Rituals facilitate connection and a sense of community, and they help us promote the values we share. So we're now going to have a ritual for action intended to help us embody what we've been talking, thinking, and singing about. We'll be using water as a symbol of renewal, and your hands will be blessed for the work of climate justice. So let me explain how this is going to work. We have 4 stations, 1, 2, 3, 4 stations, and we have some youth volunteers and adult volunteers that are going to be at each station. And now's the time for them to kind of approach their station. And what you're going to do is you'll divide yourselves up into 4 groups. So the group for that station is going to line up this way, across from the bowl that way. From the bowl in the center this way will be the second station. And then from the door in the back, people will come down for the one station there with Gracie. And then we're going to kind of go up the side here for the final station. And what you're going to do is put your hand out, and the folks at the station are going to dip their fingers in the bowl of water and drip a little water on your hand and pronounce the following blessing. Friend, You are commissioned to act for climate justice. I bless your hands with water. May they do the work that must be done, care for those who need the touch of kindness, and create flourishing everywhere. So if you're ready for commitment, please line up and let's get this process going, shall we? Okay. Now that we have recommitted ourselves to climate justice, we have one last song to sing and some closing words to end the service.
Yes, if you will, one last time, rise, embody your spirit. We'll sing The Fire of Commitment together. From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the faith that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion lead to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our hunger finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the streets of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Our closing words are by the Reverend Peggy Clark. Knowing how quickly the flame of truth may be extinguished, how easily the chalice of fellowship broken, let us be vigilant in faith, keep peace in our hearts, and make care for one another the watchword of our lives together. So our light goes out everywhere into the world. Our light goes out everywhere. Healing and hope are needed. Let us go in peace to love and serve this world and one another. May it be so. May we make it so. And amen.